All right, hey, what's up, guys? So we're going to cover the lead procurement process, right? How to get unlimited leads. Man, if you're here, you probably are something like me, been either burned or let down by every other vendor that we worked with, every other, data broker that we tried to get, just straight data or age leads from. You eventually get to the point where you just kind of want the ball in your hands, right? Like we spent tens of thousands of dollars over, I don't know how many different years now of spending on Meta and working with other agencies and buying different lists, ultimately to find that nothing is really perfect, but everything is expensive in the end, right? So what we're going to cover today is basically how you guys can get unlimited leads, how you can have that ball in your hand and not rely on anybody else for a brand new fresh list for you guys to call, for you to prospect, for you to be able to simply find areas of opportunity without needing anybody else, without shelling out any money at all. Okay, so everything that I'm going to show you guys in this training today isn't going to cost you anything, but it's going to make all the difference in the world if in your business if you follow the simple steps that we're going to cover today. So let's jump right into it, man. It's actually super simple. So this doc is down below in the training as well. But I'm just going to quickly go through the steps. And then what I'm going to do in this training is actually just build a quick list with you. So not only can I, tell you guys what to do, but also show you how to do it at the same time. So again, it's super simple, man. We're actually going to use Google Maps. So we're going to use Google Maps. Then we're going to type in city, state, or address. Ideally, you want to have an address. If not, then a city works really well for this because you can just kind of zoom in and find a good neighborhood, and I'll show you guys some tips and tricks from there. Next, we're going to change layers. After we find that city and area, we're going to find a house. I'll show you guys how to pinpoint that house so you can save it, and then we're going to switch the view so that we can actually see what we're looking at, right? We want to see are these roofs shaded? Are these roofs already covered in solar? We want to make sure that the areas that we're even looking at are, good prospects for solar. And that's kind of one of the bad things about buying these lists, guys. It's like, you call in commercial buildings, you call in abandoned homes, you're calling homes that were knocked down last year, like all types of stuff, right? Well, this gets you the highest chances of probability before that person even picks up the phone, right? Like, let's make sure this is a good candidate for solar before we even put them on our spreadsheet and upload them into our dialer. So from that point, I'm at step number 4 now. We're going to take that address, copy and paste it into Project Sunroof. Then we're going to back out. We want to get a good area visual. Is this a good area in general? Like, is there a lot of clear roofs in this area before I just really start to dive in this one particular area? We want to make sure it's not like one good block here, but like there's a lot of opportunities in a close space. So just like if we're knocking on the streets, we want to become the mayor of this town. We want to start to talk to people in the same neighborhood, in the same city. We want to reference the high school, the hospital, the restaurants, the like any good connection points. Like you can see in step number 7, neighborhood, other homes with solar, pools near schools, churches, hospitals, restaurants, etc. When you're able to mention these things on the phone to people, like it's almost like you're really there and you know the neighborhood like the back of your hand. So then we're going to use True People Search once we have the areas and the addresses, and we're going to copy and paste those into a spreadsheet, and then we'll use True People Search to get those names and numbers before we call. Then before we call that list, this is very important, we're going to scrub the list to make sure that none of the numbers on there are on the do not contact list. This is something that your vendors who you're paying for these terrible lists for, that they don't do. Hopefully you're using a CRM that has built-in capabilities to scrub the list for you, but if not, there's a ton of free resources online, okay? This is 4 minutes in, and I just told you how to get unlimited leads forever in solar, like forever. 4 minutes and you know exactly what to do. Well, now I'm going to show you guys as well. So let's jump on over to Google Maps and let's see. So I'm going to choose Allen, Texas. Let's go Allen, Texas. And here's some properties that I start for this earlier, right? So just like anything else, I came to find these ahead of time so that we could build this thing out a little bit easier. And same thing, once you type in a city name, ideally, if these weren't starred, you would just start to zoom in until you can find what looks like neighborhoods, right? Now, again, I've already started homes up top, but let's say this was totally brand new and you wanted to take a look at this. I'm in Allen. I found the city, right? Now I found what looks like a neighborhood. We're going to change the layers so that we can see what we're actually looking at. And then look at that. We've got roofs. We've got some great roofs here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. So one of the things that you can tell, well, a lot of the things that you can tell from this, obviously we can see some solar in this area. We can see quite a bit of these homes might actually have some trees, not very many pools, more solar here. My guess is from afar, this area from, how do I put this? One of the things that you can see really well from just like doing this a whole lot is average income of a neighborhood. And sometimes you can spot, quickly whether something is going to have a higher median income, a lower median income, or is going to essentially be kind of just right for you. But let's take a look at this solar home. Solar homes are great. You should always put them on the list. The reason being is when you call them, I would actually create a separate list for homes that already have solar, because when you call them, it's a perfect, it's just like knocking. When you get to a new neighborhood, find the solar house first, knock it. Hey, we see you have solar. Don't want to bother you. Just wanted to get the experience. Is everything working okay? Like, how are things going? Do you recommend, who installed you? Whatever the case may be. But what you're really looking for is an opportunity to A, sell them more panels, or B, get a positive story so that you can reference to other people. So if I call this house first, and I get, the name and number of the person, I'm like, hey, we see that you guys have solar. We work with, X program in this area. Just wanted to check in and make sure that your solar system was working properly and there wasn't anything else that we could do for you guys. Again, you don't have to be the installer of that, but guess what? A lot of guys who got installed last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, etc., they're looking for storage options now. Most of them do not have enough panels to cover their utility bill. So a lot of them can be sold additional panels or another system to pair with what they currently have. So again, those are great reference points. They already know everything inside and out. You have something to sell them, but also you don't have anything to sell them. So it makes the conversation between you guys really easy. Okay, so let's just go ahead and use this neighborhood. Actually, I mean, for me personally, there'd be more shading than I would care to use on this one. So let's zone out a little bit more, and let's just go here. So here we go. Starting to the left and moving to the right is always easier, and I'll explain why. So we're gonna go McAllen, and we're gonna star this house. And starring that works because as you continue to do this over time, whether you're a broker or whether you're running a team, you want to build a procurement team, 1 to 2 people to do this process for you every single week on new areas, or every single day, depending on how big your team is, how many leads to appointments you guys are looking to do. But when you come in here and you're creating a list, you want to just save all the addresses. One person can do this, right? And they can screenshot, send it to the next person on the procurement team. And while one person is going through and their whole job, because again, at the end of the day, you want thousands of these and it's going to be very time consuming. One person's finding those ideal roofs, right? They're putting people in buckets. These are the solar homes. These are, clear homes, whatever the case may be for your campaign. But starring them is going to help once you start to grow that procurement team of people who are going to create fresh lead lists for you guys every single day, week, etc. All right, I thought I was going crazy. I know I clicked that one like 10 times. So, all right. So again, if I work for your team and my job, my task is, hey, to build new lists for you guys every single week or twice a week, whatever the case may be. I might be doing 500 of these today, right? And then I'm going to get this whole area all starred up. And once this whole area is filled with stars, no matter how big it is, I'm going to then do a big screenshot of the area, right? However many it takes to get it done. And then I'm going to send that to the next person, right? The next person on the team can pull up the same Google Maps. They can go to the starred areas or the same neighborhood, and then they can copy and paste these addresses. Once we copy and paste that address, we want to just build a spreadsheet that's going to turn into our lead list. So the same way you would upload them into your dialer is how you want to obviously create the criteria up top. So we have full name, and you want to do this again really based on how the lists are going to come from both Google Maps and into your dialer. So full name, not first and last name, is going to be easier. And believe it or not, the address, you can take the time to chop it up. It could just be a little bit more time consuming, but the full address is going to go in one slot. Typically you would do, address, city, state, zip code, all separate, but it's going to go in the same for here. And then phone. I recommend doing 2 phone numbers, phone 1 and phone 2, just because when we use True People Search, it might pull up, sometimes 6 different phone numbers. Half might be landline, half might be wireless. And then, you just kind of got to look at them and see what is the most current record that they found. But so it's kind of a bit of a gamble on which one might be their prime number right now, the one that they use most often. But nonetheless, you still want to at least give yourself 2 options or 2 slots to have 2 numbers for each lead, so that you are good to go. So I got that, and I've got my first address in there. And I'm going to go back and make sure, like I talked about before, make sure that the whole area, actually before you do what I just did, you want to make sure that there's good amount of clear roofs in the area before you deem this area a good place to utilize your time to prospect. So let's back out a little bit. And would you look at that? Project Sunroof says this is a pretty good area for solar. So perfect. That's all we needed to know there. For the most part, is pretty good. How do I zoom back in that bad boy? For the most part, we're looking pretty good on a lot of homes over here. So we got the thumbs up. This is a good place, right, to go back to and, mark more homes. So we would then go back to that same spreadsheet. I got 515 Fairhaven Drive. And then all the starred homes that I starred before. I'm just going to copy that address, add them to the spreadsheet, right? Simple. So if you again, depending on the size of your team, if this is something that you're doing, man, make this a part of your schedule. Every Sunday, every Monday, you spend a really good amount of time farming these areas and these leads. And then look at this, you get a good visual to the area. This is what I would consider an ideal place when I say demographics about average income, high income, etc. Like when you even look at this picture, why do you think that I would say that this is a great place? A, because the roof's clear. B, because they got a little mobile home in the yard, which shows 2 things to me. A, like Allen, this whole neighborhood, Allen, Texas, is not necessarily like the slums, but it's also not necessarily a gated community, right? So it's more than likely filled with people who are working class people. So they have, well manicured lawns, good areas, good schools there, I believe, all that type of good stuff. But at the same time, like they could use some savings, right? They don't have so high of an income that they can't listen to a pitch about saving their money and adding equity into the home. So I like to talk to people who really need my product and who are open-minded to my product. And this area will be a really good area to call and to knock and things of that nature. So it makes a ton of sense. 511, let's see if I have 511 on there. And so on and so forth, right? So let's go over to True People Search. All right, so address search, and then from your spreadsheet, same thing. So ideally, you would have spent time doing this, a couple hundred. You do 100 a day, however many, depends on if you're doing it or if someone's doing it full time, right? Obviously, this is a very manual process, but it is so much better to take the time to do this and to see the homes and to be able to make notes on the homes versus to quickly just give these guys thousands of dollars for these bullshit lists. Like, anybody who's telling you like something is a silver bullet and it's like a easy process, you just pay and you're set for life, like it's a lie. Like, do the work. This is the work, and it's very simple. It just takes a little bit of time. And again, you could also pay to have someone do it for you. All right, so we are going to copy paste that. What am I doing? Address search. Yeah. Boom. And so what do we have? It pulls up the same thing. Now, this is sometimes where it can get kind of tricky because you'll have like current owners based on what True People feels lives in the home now and who bought the home last, right? So right up top, we have Lopez, Nilza Lopez. Let's click the details. Sometimes it can show you what their last property that they purchased was and when it was sold last and all that good stuff. All right, awesome. So, I mean, we don't need a full background report on these people by any means. So everything that you're looking to get, you can get. So it's giving you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phone numbers that I mentioned before. The one that says possible primary phone, you want to always take that one. And again, this is why I said make sure we have 2 buckets, because again, they're giving us 6. We don't know which one is which. We want to take the possible primary. The next one that I would always take is the wireless. K West, but this is a 303 214 is local area code. Last reported was Jan of 2018. So check the dates as well. VoIP. Last reported August of 2023. So a Spectrum. Is that a Spectrum? AT&T VoIP might be a business for inside for the home. So I'm gonna take this one too because it is the closest. I'm gonna take the 2 most updated numbers. Right? It says possible primary and possible landline. Doesn't necessarily always mean that it's a landline. This could be a new cell phone number, but I'm gonna take these 2 numbers and put them in the list. And then the name, it looks like she's 70. So obviously this helps out a lot because you'll see people who are pushing age or who are really young. And obviously, you know, if you're getting a bunch of people who it says they're 80 and 85 and 79 and things of that nature, you may or may not want to call them depending on, you know, what you're pushing, right? So cool. We got the name in here. We got the address in there. We have 2 phone numbers in there. Obviously you can do emails as well. A lot of the times emails are old or they bounce or they're inaccurate. We stay away from email until we contact the person because we're not just sending out email marketing to cold leads for solar. I'm not, at least, you know, to each is their own. Let's move on to the next one to see if we can pull some good data on 513 Fairhaven and what that would look like. Address search again. And it's going to give me that little deal. Like, I don't know why. Double click. 18 records found for 513. And then we got a Kelsey Barker, a Helen Barker, Marilyn Barker. We got Kelsey twice. So it looks like Kelsey and Helen most likely lived there, right? So let's take the details of the first one. And I'm just curious because it looks like I'm just going off of age, like it could be a mother-daughter combo. Kelsey was 26 and Helen is 47. And I did notice on Kelsey's it said the previous address was in Ohio. So I want to see what this looks like as well. Because I'd be willing to bet out of the 2, you know, more than likely Helen is the homeowner. And Okay, cool. So again, 2 numbers. We can take the landline, possible primary, last reported October of 2023. So really strong phone number there. And I should have put the name first. And then the next we're going to take let's find a wireless. The most recent reported wireless phone number. T-Mobile 2021. Local area code. And pretty simple, right? So on and so forth. We go down this list, and just like I mentioned in the step-by-step process, after you've done this for however many leads you're looking to get, like I said, time consuming, but so much better than spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on either agency to run you brand new a lead list, right? Just for you to call that person and them to be like, hey, I'm not interested, or I was just browsing, or for them to never answer the phone, or for you to call a age leads list for them to have gotten solar 6 months ago, even though the vendor told you, hey, these lists are from 0 to 30 days, right? You can call that first one and like, man, we got solar with Sunrun 6 months ago. So anyways, takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of muscle, but definitely worth it, and gives you unlimited leads, unlimited access to leads across the country. And again, once you build this list up to, however many hundreds of thousands of lists, before you upload it into your dialer, I recommend you scrubbing it for the DNC, the do not call list. Again, if you guys are calling people who are on this list, there's people who are waiting for their phone to ring from, prospectors, cold callers like us, and who know the litigation process inside and out, and they're just itching for their phone to ring by the wrong person saying the wrong things at the wrong time so that they can try to process litigation and get a fine from you guys, right? So there's a bunch of different resources for that online. I mean, you Google it, DNC scrubber list. Again, a lot of the dialers that you guys are using and that I recommend have that process or capabilities built into them to check those numbers before they even upload it. So more than likely you probably have, if you are using anything that is predictive or automated or high functional, it more than likely has those capabilities built in. But if not, make sure that you just simply find one online. Sometimes they'll charge you, pennies on the dollar for however many numbers you're uploading it. But I promise you guys, if you are doing the legwork on the homes that you're selecting, the areas that you were looking for already, right? So again, if I'm calling this list, let's go back to this property or this area in Allen, Texas, and I'm looking for just visual cues in the area so that I could talk to homeowners and build some form of rapport with them. I'm gonna mention the animal hospital to their home, right? Oh, you guys are not too far from the animal hospital, right? What is this? JB Allen Bowl, the bowling alley, right? Just all types of stuff. These little things. Schools. I'm really big on schools. Like mention that everybody knows the schools in their areas. A lot of the people are going to either have kids or no kids in their area. So mentioning the schools or the main roads, right? Oh, that's not too far off of Greenville Ave by the Quick Trip, right? You guys aren't too far from that, are you? Yeah, you've seen the projects in the area. I know you guys aren't too far from that Quick Trip right on Greenville. Dude, if you've listen to what I just said, you would think that I'm in this neighborhood. Like being able to say things like that to people within the first 30 seconds of the call, it significantly takes you out of the same boat as other callers who are calling with just monotonous scripts and who clearly sound like they're all about business. Like position yourself differently. Go take the time to just learn these things. El Grande burrito, you know what I'm saying? Hey, by the way, have you guys tried that El Grande burrito around the corner from you? No, I was thinking about trying it out, man. Let me know how it is, or if we are able to get you guys going, I'll send you a gift card there, whatever the case may be. But believe it or not, those small things go big ways for you to be able to talk about on the phone and become that mayor of the neighborhood, of the town, etc. And man, there's just a lot to call. There's a lot to call here. So again, man, let's walk through the process. You guys just saw me build or start a good lead list. From start to finish. We went to Google Maps. We typed in the city of where we wanted to prospect in. We zoomed in to find what looked like a neighborhood. Then we changed the layers so that we can actually see the homes. We can see what has solar, what doesn't have solar, what looks like a clear roof, what looks like it has shading. And then from there, we want to take that address over to Sunroof to make sure that, hey, if I want to get hundreds of homes in this area, thousands of homes in this area, maybe even, right? So, but before I do that, I want to make sure that all of these homes are a good fit, because if they are, I want to literally digitally knock the neighborhood. I want to go house by house by house. Because what happens if I get an answer, 2 answers in a row? Yeah, hey, we just talked to Janet next door in 2:15, or Helen at 5:15, right? We were jumping on a call with her tomorrow to go through the utility bills. And we thought you guys might be at fit as well. You might have seen the projects going up in the area. We have a lot more projects coming to that area. We just talked to Helen at 5:15, right? That's the reason for our call today. So again, man, it goes such a long way in knowing the people in the area and staying in the same area. But if you're buying these random lists and it's just so sporadic addresses all over an entire state, man, you can't get a good feel. You can't get a good rhythm. This way, it's no cost. It's totally in your control. And when you build that list you're ahead of time, like yourself or either through your team, like again, you go into it with so much more confidence. I mean, look at just even going through the True People search and having to do this kind of creepy background on every single property. You're listening to me do the training and I'm like, Helen and Kelsey sounds like, Kelsey sounds like the daughter. Helen sounds like the mom. Like, my confidence when I call these leads, like I feel like I kind of know a bit about the area, a bit about the people, so on and so forth. So my tonality is just going to be different. Anyways, I could go on and on and on about this, but man, I take this, I put my dollars here on myself to farm and procure my own leads 10 times out of 10. There's nothing wrong with using agencies when you guys have that cash or just want to put some gas to your fire. But just like knocking in solar, man, it's never going to go out of fashion or style until it becomes illegal, right? So, but what can we do to totally control customer acquisition? And this is just the way. So I hope this is super helpful for you guys, man. Let me know how much you are absolutely killing it with this process. And then that final step, man, if you don't have the $100 million cold call script, what are you doing? Right? It is going to go perfect for this because I've shown you guys how to get your own leads for free. Then I'm giving you the best solar script on the planet for cold calling solar leads, period. Right? You know how to get leads. You know what to say. Becoming a remote solar agent is never been a better time, and it's never been easier with the things that we've been able to provide you guys. So that's going to be it for today. A super simple but yet massively effective thing that is going to change your business like forever. Over the next 30 days, I promise. Try this out, reach out to me, and let me know how much it's changed your business. Because again, if you're anything like me and you went through broker after broker with different data sources, or you've tried the Bacons or the exclusives of the space, right? Then you know they're hit or miss, dude. 1 month you could spend 5 to 10 grand and you might get a handful of sales, enough to justify spending that money, but you still had to work for it. You buy a lead list from these vendors, and when you call the leads, you still have to repitch them. They still are cold. They're like, yeah, we were just looking around. Can you give me a price? Or we're not really interested anymore. Like, what the hell did I spend $10,000 with them for when these leads aren't ready to sit? So it's the same thing. You spend 5 to 10 grand with those guys to get a spreadsheet, and a lot of them don't answer the phone and others are kicking tires. You might as well just do this yourself for free. That's what this is. And it's so much better than a lot of the other options out there, man. I'm really excited for you if you were able to invest in this very simple but massively effective process for acquiring leads. So that's it for today, man. And again, reach out to me. I can't wait to hear testimonials of how this has worked for you guys. Join the community so that you can partner with and communicate with other guys who have also invested in this same process. And then again, if you haven't got the $100 million cold call script, you need to get that as well, because it is one of the best things that I've created and given to you guys. And if you are a virtual solar pro or entering the virtual space, or if you have a team of setters, you gotta make sure you're saying the right things at the right time, and that's gonna help you do it. But that's it for me today. Again, I will see you guys in the next training.